embarrassing.
Especially in like the conversation that we like just had yesterday in chemistry, like that's really funny. It lasts long and it's gooey and it's... I can't remember what the other thing she said was, but... Oh, it smells nice. What? Yeah, we have Kevin every day, so it's happening.
I don't know if I can take it out.
I don't know if I can either, but I'm just gonna make it through.
I'm just gonna like do what I can to survive. Because I
Oh,
had EDC all day till I had EDC till 10 o'clock last night. It was awesome.
Oh, well, I was there until 6 o'clock, and then I went home and I took a nap for 2 hours, and I was like, oh my god, and then I got on the phone with Lexi, and then I got in the shower, and then I got on the phone with Lexi again, and then I studied for vocab, and I was still talking to Lexi, and then yeah, and I fell asleep.
No.
I pretend I heard anything you just said.
They did. There we go, that was better.
You know what's the worst part? Is I've never been
You
guys really good.
Maybe you should see about me.
I went now, she's instead.
I don't know. Like, she texted me like last night when I fell asleep, so I texted her this morning. Oh man, that's sad this, and she didn't text me back. So yeah. The worst part though was that like I'm so now.
I was texting her and kind of left.
I mean, if I had to keep crying,
so you're trying to like give a speech or whatever you're doing.
You know, it's really interesting seeing his girlfriend at school now. It's
Matt?
Yeah. It's just weird being having a girlfriend in general.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, never mind.
Anyways. Did you have to retire this morning?
What? Because I just like my corner.
Usually when I Usually when I love it.
Oh, me too. And Kramer, I just love you civics.
Skylar, sit over here.
Because I just like my corner.
Oh no, my calculator fell. I'll go grab it. Oh no, since I'm already here, I'll just be beside you.
No.
How you doing?
She was going crazy. Oh my god.
Share a room, like.
And now you don't even be. Oh my god, what is this?
Like his buddy was like, okay, you go there now. And we'll do a shot of this drink. And I was like,
I don't know what
it's
it is.
really good.
So my brother was like, I already know
Well,
the shot.
but he autocorrected him to, I already know the words.
Why?
Okay, sorry, I had to tell you this because I tried on my iPhone. I typed in LAN and it just makes it plan.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So they've corrected the
Yeah.
What?
Hilarious. It was an algorithm. Don't you remember that? Yeah, I don't remember that. I like did it a couple times and it still was like.
I'm glad to hear that, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because I just happen to not know every time.
To give you an idea of what Holly's talking about. How does this?
It's like, I'm so glad it doesn't have to be plain.
Yeah, right. So let me make sure I got this right.
I tried to do
No,
that.
hold on for a second.
Just listen to the story.
Yeah, so here's
It's a cool story. Well, I mean,
here's L. Okay, and yeah, way over here is A and N. But if you were trying to spell the word plan, which is a reasonable thing to do, you would go P-L-A-N, and it's possible on like a little tiny like iPhone keyboard that you would just hit L-L-A-N. It's possible, and of course if you hit L-L-A-N, then they're gonna have to autocorrect, right? Well, if you type in L-L-A-N, the autocorrect on the original iPhone, the iPhone 2, and the iPhone 3 was not just because you can, well, it's reasonable when trying to type the word plan to get L-L-A-N, right? That's reasonable, right? Well, there's also a K next to the L. So the original iPhone, iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3 would autocorrect to not just clan, but clan with a capital K.
That is backwoodsy.
Yeah, seriously.
It doesn't do it to my iPhone.
So apparently they've corrected it since the
I
iPhone
would
3.
start
Well, I have
civil,
the iPhone
civil
4.
lawsuit.
There could have been. For, yeah.
Shoot, I'd
Oh,
civil
just
suit.
saying, yeah.
My
I feel like that would have been in the news.
I'm on your side.
Yes.
my Android phone still does it.
What?
L-L-A-N.
Well, my phone
Clan.
Oh my god.
Like if I hit space, and I don't want to text Mrs. Breen, clan.
phone and then you sent it.
Oh, man.
So,
I was like,
yeah, that's just,
To prove it wrong.
it's a tidbit, it's just a tidbit of information, but, and now here's my suspicion as to why that happened.
I think Apple has a higher agenda.
Yeah, I think that they do.
It's possible. I think what, the way that the program was probably designed was it has a list of, I mean, hundreds of thousands of eligible words that are like properly spelled. And whenever you're spelling L-L-A-N, it's looking for combinations that are close to L-L-A-N on the keyboard. And it probably gives you first the eligible word that's closest in like spatial proximity, as opposed to closest in probable what you're typing proximity.
Yeah, but proper nouns, come on now.
It's, and I suspect in this list of how many words, they didn't have capital K, or lowercase k-l-a-n, they
Or any
only
other
had
proper
capital
names at all.
k-l-a-n, which is itself weird that that would show up in the list. But the K is only one space away, whereas the P, you have to go over one space and up one space. So technically, it's square root 2 spaces away. I think that's why, because the K is closer. I suspect, I'm trying to give the programmer the benefit of the doubt.
Otherwise, Steve Jobs is racist.
Clan never should have showed up in the list. That's my opinion. So that, like, especially with the capital K, like, why would we acknowledge? Why would we acknowledge a racist cult? That doesn't make any sense. Because the best way to drive someone crazy who's trying to ruffle your feathers is to not acknowledge that they're doing anything to you. And not only to not acknowledge it, but then to just completely brush it off. Because if somebody is legitimately trying to ruffle your feathers, and they are not then ruffling your feathers, they're going to be irritated, aggravated, and it's going to get to them, and then you just brush it off, and then it'll drive them nuts, so then they can't.
Well,
Anyways.
didn't we just have some lawsuit where the Ku Klux Klan wanted to be, like, deemed as an actual group? And they told them,
They
they
still exist?
yeah, and they told them they couldn't do it. So it's like, why would your cell phone even bring it up as a proper noun if it's not even politically correct?
Yeah, I don't, that's,
Go America.
Maybe they
Go
just
America.
maybe they just kind of like brushed it off and was like, meh, just leave it on there. I
Alright,
don't know.
well, just brush on people.
yeah, I don't know, I feel like
For a couple
certain
seconds,
things,
that's okay.
certain things shouldn't be acknowledged. I'm with Eric on this, like, the Ku Klux Klan should just be, they shouldn't make the news, they shouldn't be, and of course, unless they do something that's utterly awful, but, in general, like, they should just not get publicity.
Do they still like ride around on horses?
Some of the, probably,
Okay.
yeah, older ones do.
Yeah. I would,
They tried to have a highway in North Carolina named Ku Klux, Klan Highway.
What?
This was like less than 6 months ago.
Oh my god.
wow.
No.
The, South Carolina still has the Confederate flag hanging at their state house.
When I lived in Florida, there is still very much a
And
Confederacy.
people say heritage, not hate, but if the heritage is based in hate, then
That's
saying
why they wouldn't give
heritage
them the
implies
highway.
hate.
They said if you're a group and you're harmful, or, then they wouldn't recognize you. Because then basically gangs could just,
Crips and blood. Crips
Yeah.
and blood highway. That would be funny.
Why do they want a highway?
I don't understand.
Because people are weird.
Like, I'm on the
I would,
I'm like, who could say that? Wait a minute, what?
yeah, right.
I have a flat tire. Broke down.
I would think, personally, I would think that when you would be naming something after somebody, you would do it in like honor of that person. Like the Ronald Reagan Expressway, if you thought Ronald Reagan was honorable, or the Kennedy Expressway, if you thought, like, the airport in,
JFK.
yeah, the airport in New York is JFK. And it's like, okay, let's honor a president who was mercilessly killed during his presidency. Like that, at a young age no less. Yeah, that's a reasonable thing to do, I think. He's a decent guy.
Or was he?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Well,
He was
yeah,
trying, he was pretty promiscuous
he did have indiscretionary relationships,
with
yeah,
Marilyn Monroe.
yeah,
Yep, he did.
yeah.
Yeah.
She was
The only
very
reason
pretty
I know
back in
that
that day.
is
She was.
Gorgeous.
That doesn't make it right.
No,
That does not make it right.
Not in my face, she was really pretty.
Yeah,
She gave curvy women
a place,
yeah,
yeah.
I like her.
So
She's cute.
She agrees.
yeah, but yeah.
That doesn't make it right though, it
The-
doesn't
I never
justify.
said it was
Yeah,
right.
and with the Klan, I would argue there's probably very little redemptive quality in what they do. I don't know what, like, I guess,
What do they do?
maybe they're organized, maybe we could, like, give them credit for that. But like, like, I mean,
If we're gonna give them the KKK credit, we might as well start giving Hitler credit. and stuff
exactly,
like that.
exactly,
Or
exactly.
like Stalin, or like.
There you go.
Well, come on.
Yeah, or shoot, right now, what's his face, and,
Kim Jong-il.
Korea.
yeah.
I can't believe that crap.
I almost brought that up in math class, whenever we were talking about, like, having cooties. It made me think, like, if the.
He's got little man syndrome.
You know what?
He's like, oh man, I'm 28, I need to flex my muscles, make people scared of Korea.
They said it's presidently shaped around.
He's like
the president.
circular.
And North Korea's like that big on the
Yeah.
world map.
I think it's funny too, because like the Secretary of Defense this morning was like, pretty much anything Korea does, we can counter, so bring it. And I was like, that would be enough to
We
scare
just get rid of
me.
North Korea,
Straight.
that's what it is, then.
Well,
Well, I mean,
I'm sure there's a lot of people,
I don't think that was
I'm
a
sure
very
there's a lot of
good
people in North Korea who are decent people.
Yeah.
I suspect though, what's his name?
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, he's probably only surrounded by people who are like, ooh, great idea, great idea. Like, ooh, that sounds good. Like, oh, we're gonna take over the world. Oh, yeah, good idea.
It's like
Right?
this tiny little country.
Like, I have a suspicion that there's people, oh, we can take over the world, sure, yeah. That's what it would be.
Good job.
It is impossible for somebody to have that, like, extreme of a view.
It reminds me of
Without having
SpongeBob
other people around.
SquarePants when Plankton's like always trying to
Oh,
take
yeah.
over. That's like
He's
Kim
like
Jong.
this big.
That's like him. 'Cause he's
Yeah.
this little itty bitty guy, and he like crawls in people's brains and says things.
That's funny.
That's so true.
I didn't realize that SpongeBob was so,
Oh, it's
very, like,
controversial.
It's very controversial.
it's deep, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, Plankton, it's little man syndrome.
That's because SpongeBob is great.
And he's going into people's heads and planting
Yeah.
seeds.
He's
He's
little
like
plankton,
climbing
yeah.
into your head and like, you're like,
Plankton or Kim Jong-un?
little SpongeBob.
Well, I guess both.
Yeah.
I just like SpongeBob in general. I
Thank
think
you.
that shows
Words of wisdom.
He is
I
kind of.
always am.
Like when you blow bubble, have you seen, oh,
Every
wait,
time
I
I watch
watched
that show, I
episode.
feel like my IQ is dropping like 20.
SpongeBob?
Yes.
Man, when I was in high school, I freaking loved that show.
Oh, come on.
My
And
dad's
then you
obsessed
sing
with
SpongeBob,
SpongeBob,
like
best show.
Like he
Yeah.
has like
That's-
a
I don't even watch South Park
thing.
anymore. I only
No.
watch
Yeah,
Family
that's
Guy.
No.
And Degrassi. I watched Degrassi too.
That show's still on.
Share.
I still watch it.
Wheelchair Jimmy. When they came out, when Jimmy came out, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like,
So now he's
Degrassi.
a famous rapper?
I've watched
right.
like
Like,
I've
what's
watched it as like from the beginning. Like I went
I
back
love it.
and I still watch it now.
I love it. I just don't like Paige. Everybody else is cool. I
But
just
you
don't like
watch
Paige.
I saw the Jimmy Fallon show when Drake was unveiled by P. Diddy, or Sean Combs, or whatever his name is now,
Whatever he's
Sean
calling
John.
himself these days.
Yeah, and he unveiled, he's like, this is the new rap sensation, blah, 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 Drake.
I like his name is Aubrey.
Because Jimmy Fallon, he
Not
does a
Drake.
lot of like spoofs. And I thought, I'm like, that's Wheelchair Jimmy, like this is, I was laughing the whole time. I thought it was like a joke.
Yeah.
I did too.
Like I had no reason to believe that Drake was gonna be like a
I
real.
know. And then I heard that song that made him famous, and I was like, ooh.
Oh, so he
And now he's like
Degrassi
this
has got
big
X
time.
rated.
now he's on like every song, you know.
I had
he's
never
great.
Except you're aware of my because the song that made him famous was the
Best I've ever had.
yeah.
I like
'Cause
that.
he says you're the best. And now if you imagine the best, this
That's what I heard.
if you're gonna say that somebody is the best, you're basically saying, hey, out of the set of all people, here's you. He's saying that you right here are the best, right? And then after saying you're the best, you're the best, you're the best, he says the best I've ever had. And you're like, whoa, because you just told me that I was the best 3 times in a row, and now here's the people that you've had, and now you're only putting me in this group. So that's not, in a sense, that's not very complimentary, because he started by saying you're the best and then saying you're the best I've ever had. What he should have said is, you're the best I've ever had. Oh, no, wait, you're just the best in general. Because that would have been a nicer thing to say.
But I think that went with the song though.
I'm aware of the lyrical, like he had to make everything work with the music, but the best way to give a compliment to somebody is not to say, like, Kramer, you're the best student in the world. No, wait, you're just the best student here. Right? Because you would have said something that would have made someone feel really good about themselves, and then come back to earth a little bit by saying, well, actually, you're the best person at this school or something.
And not everybody that listens to Drake is aspiring to get a PhD.
Yeah,
I don't think they're sitting there reading his lyrics like, this is not politically correct.
I know.
Because I think it would be, like, if you would be wanting to dish a compliment out to somebody, you could be like, you know, you're one of the nicest people I've ever met. You know, frankly, you're not one of the nicest people I've ever met. You have to be one of the nicest people alive. Like, that would be going out one level, which would be the way to give a compliment, which would make someone feel good about themselves, and then to say something that makes them feel even better about themselves. That's the way to, I'm giving everybody practical advice here. This is practical advice on how to give somebody a compliment. You don't say, you know what, you're one of the nicest people in the world. No, you're just one of the nicest people I've ever met. Right? That's
like degrading.
It's a little bit underhanded. You're still saying a nice thing, but you just like loosen the restrictions on what you were saying, which is then making them wonder. Because if somebody said that to me, I'd be sitting there saying, well, then who among the people that you haven't had do you think is better than me? If you're going to say you're the best, and then you say best I've ever had, then you say who from the other group are you now have in mind for you to like weaken the statement that you previously made?
You are the most cerebral person I know.
Okay. I like when things make sense, and I think if you dish out a compliment to somebody that does make sense whenever you take it to a next level, when the person sits down and rethinks about that, they're going to feel even better about themselves. When if they sat down and thought about what Drake says in his song, I think you could be suspicious of, well, you know.
How genuine he is.
Yeah, like, is he going to have Marilyn Monroe syndrome? If he's
I don't know, but all I know is
yeah.
he's worth how many $1 million net worth?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know,
Let's find out.
the song stuck, so I can't argue that.
But, I mean, yeah, net worth. I mean, Lil Wayne's worth $95 million.
Right.
Gross.
I
And he's
mean,
like,
And he can't even rap.
he just got to
okay, so Drake is worth $30 million, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and he looked, he
Not
was
really.
Wait, how much is that?
30 million.
oh
What?
my god.
So much better rapper than Lil Wayne. How? Okay.
That doesn't make sense.
All right.
So anyways, I guess I'm, like, I can't argue the fact that he's successful, I can't argue the fact that his music hasn't stuck, but I would argue to the death about that point, that the way to offer a compliment is to say something, and then if anything, say something more profound.
He wasn't trying to exaggerate the truth though.
No, because I mean, I guess in some sense, if you were dishing out a compliment saying, you know, you're such a nice person, you're one of the nicest people I've ever met. You know what? You've got to be one of the nicest people in the world. I mean, at that point, when you make that statement, you have to be saying, the only thing you have to access is your own memories of the people that you've ever met. And then going through the memories of the people that you've ever met, you're imagining all the other people in the world without having actually met them. So I suppose you're going out on a limb by saying such a thing. And in a sense, what you're really only able to ever say definitively is you're one of the nicest people I've ever met, because it would be impossible to say.
Don't all people do that though?
But
It's like, oh, this restaurant's my favorite. And then you go someplace a month later, oh, this restaurant's my favorite.
That's
It's a different place, I mean.
Or like that commercial that Eva Longoria's in where it's like for the chips and she like comes out each time. She's like, this one's my favorite. Oh, I can't decide.
yeah.
I don't even know this commercial.
The one for like the Lay's chips.
I don't even know what.
The sriracha bunch of chips that they made, and like the chicken and waffles and garlic.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, that sounds gross. Hey, I got chicken and waffles.
Whoa, I want to taste this. They're actually really nasty. My mom tried them at work.
Well, it's chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles.
Put
The
together
Russian one is
and
really
chips.
good though. Like it's
That's
so
like
sounds-
salmon and pancakes.
Yeah.
Actually, that's good. Okay, a salmon pancake.
What?
Who are
Like
you?
you put salmon in pancake. It's a Japanese thing.
Wait, Japanese people eat pancakes and salmon?
Yeah, but it's like a savory pancake.
Have you ever dipped a PB&J in tomato soup?
One, I don't like tomatoes.
Alright, I'm
Two,
gonna
that's
say, the
disgusting.
strangest thing I've ever eaten is ramen noodles and hot sauce. That's about as weird as
Yeah, I know. That's when you're at my house. You're just like, wait, you a hot sauce. You're like,
That's like eating
Sometimes
like
like taste
shin bowl. Do you know what shin bowl are?
No.
Interesting conversation. That said, let's cover something, kind of related today. I mean, so some groups, even if well organized, don't deserve any credit because they're doing awful things. That's one thing that we learned. Another thing that we learned is that we can go back and forth, left and right, about things that we like or things that we don't like, and we can ultimately have different opinions. Because we had like a SpongeBob, then we had a Family Guy was brought up, and something else. Yeah, it was like we went back and forth there. And then even if something doesn't make sense, it doesn't mean that it can't stick. When it comes
Chicken
to
and waffles.
the Drake thing, or yeah, chicken and waffles, or because if
Pizza Hut perfume.
and some things that's
They do, they have, they just came out with it.
Disgusting.
there's like a barbecue one or something.
Yes!
It's like, my mom would have smelled like barbecue. Like, I love smelling like
That's just gross.
something I heard the other day was like people who are successful inventors in today's day and age are able to come up with something that we didn't even know that we wanted until we hear about it.
That just sounds
I
repulsive.
don't think
Like,
you don't want one.
you don't even, until you hear about it, you see it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted that, even though you never really wanted that. But when you see it, you're like, that's exactly what I've wanted, because that, fixes this, that, and the other problem that I've been wanting to solve. Whatever it is, that's like the way to be an inventor, is to gives people something that they've never even realized that they wanted, but when they see it, they'll know that they will.
We should look up since we're talking about new things, we should show them the new laser that the Navy has.
Oh my gosh.
Laser?
It's cute.
There's a
It is
laser that
awesome.
they can point
They
at a
grounded the
plane.
Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds for a year. And they have this new laser that like sits on a CD boat, like a big carrier boat out in the ocean. And they can shine it on aircraft flying over, and it heats up the plane to make it blow up.
Whoa.
Like literally a laser that you just, dang.
You can just see a red stream going up to the plane, and as the plane's flying, it just,
It
the
just starts
little ball of
igniting.
fire gets
I was
bigger
hoping
and
to get
bigger
on a
until the
plane
whole
and
plane
not.
just,
that's kind of
That's so cool.
That is
I think it's awesome.
it's like
Awesome.
back
in an
in,
evil genius way. That's really great.
back
No.
in, back in ancient Greece,
But what if you were on
uh,
that plane?
Aristotle, actually, Aristotle speculated an idea of a death ray. And the way he did this was, he was like, well, if you take like a mirror and deflect the sun at a bug, you can get the bug heated up to where the bug like starts melting. You get a couple mirrors, you can heat the bug up even quicker. You get like 4 mirrors, you could heat the bug up really, really fast. You can get it so hot that you put your finger there, your finger will start melting. He was like, why don't we get like a bunch of mirrors, set them all up in like a perfect parabola to where they're focusing right on a point, how many feet away, and then you could have like a ship with a big set of mirrors. And then when another ship got within just the right distance, it would start on fire because there would be so much sun energy focused.
There was
What
a
if
firm
it was
that tried to
raining
do
that
that in
day?
ancient Greece.
Well,
They had, like
where?
a wall, they
So-
took mirrors and they tried to make
They're
it
like,
to where
"Find
they
the
would
fire
burn the
connection."
ships coming in.
Mhm.
And they actually tried it in real life and they couldn't make it set on fire.
That I think there were, I've seen a Mythbusters about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea in theory, I suppose, but what the government's doing is sort of like the modern equivalent that actually works, because when they hit the plane, it almost makes you scared, it makes me scared a little bit in a way, because what if like we had satellites with that technology and then like, oh, you just wanted that house to like go away, like.
Or a country.
It's like my girlfriend, she goes,
Bye, North Korea. Please.
Another one that I had a haunting thought about was the meteor that came into Russia not too long ago. Did I bring this up in class? The meteor came into Russia at an angle like this, and the fact that it came in at an oblique angle was one reason why, because part of the shock wave went up into the sky, but if the meteor was going straight, apparently the shock wave would go straight down. Now they said, if the meteor the size of the meteor that came into Russia, which is basically a big ball of metal, that's basically what it is, a big ball of metal. If it came in straight down, it would have had the explosive force of 50 atomic bombs. Yes, 50 atomic bombs. As it was explosive, and building windows were shattered for a few hundred yards of where the impact was, but it was nothing, nothing too catastrophic. It was jarring, to be sure, but nothing too catastrophic. The horrifying thought I had is, what if, oh, the other thing is, when this meteor came in, nobody saw the meteor coming. The meteor just, like... Because
it was coming from the direction of the sun.
Yeah, and it was so small that the meteor detection devices that we have that are, or the asteroid detecting device that are watching the asteroids in the asteroid belt, only detect asteroids that are large enough to cause, like, catastrophic events to the entire Earth, not catastrophic events on a small scale. So something that would be able to cause a catastrophic event on a small scale, we just don't even watch. We don't have the ability to detect it. We don't have enough. So, well, my horrifying thought was, what if the government got like really good at harnessing, or even just making meteors?
Just drop a meteor on a country.
Just drop a meteor. Yeah, you just blame it on nature. But you could be causing the effect of a nuclear bomb. Like if I was in the Army or the Department of Defense, I would be like, we're making meteors right now.
Well, that's, that's terrifying up there, because if the asteroid system they have in place or whatever didn't detect that, and if it would have just been a few more degrees down this way, and it would have created the impact of 50 atomic bombs or whatever, then they need to revamp their asteroid thing, because that boy may not have been big enough, but if he would have came down at the right angle,
he would have been. And the whole purpose, there was a PBS special I watched for an hour about it, and the whole purpose of the episode was just what my wife said, was we need better detection, and that's actually something that scientists are leading a charge for right now, is better detection. But until the better detection comes, like, just, if a meteor strikes South Korea in the next 2 months, you didn't hear it from me. Okay, I don't want to be somebody who just disappears off the face of the planet or something, because, right? But they said some meteorites are just iron, which iron is relatively cheap. We can make a big ball of iron pretty easily, and just
keep things in our orbit.
Yeah,
send it down
just undetectable and just be like tick, and then.
Goodbye, North Korea.
It's that was a haunting thought, because you have to take no blame for it. You just be like, oh, it was just the universe, like universe blinked, blah blah blah.
Well, what if America, what if Russia came up with that? That would be in trouble.
Well, that's why now I'm getting really into my personal opinion, but this is why I think it is a mistake that whenever we at the State of the Unions and the president's like, we're going to be the best country in the world. Like, part of that mentality is dangerous, because if you're claiming to be the best, and if you're claiming to have a desire to be the best in the world, what that could be translated as is, we're going to be better than everybody else. Think about that. And whenever you have that mentality, now I'm going to take it to a Dr. Phil level, but Dr. Phil says all the time, when you start comparing yourself to other people, that's when you have problems. You look at yourself and make yourself better. So when you say we're going to be the best country in the world, what you're saying is, I'm in a competition with all the other countries. And I think that's a dangerous mentality. I think it would be better to say, hey, let's make America better, period. and let's make other countries better. In the meantime, let's build trusting relationships. But I think we're gonna be the best country in the world would make you, nervous, like what if Russia gets this technology, what if whatever. I think we're allies with Russia right now, but I also know that 40 years ago we weren't. And the reason why we have so many nuclear firearms, or nuclear arms right now